Perfectly soft and fluffy on the outside, packed with a flavorful and juicy crab and chive filling, these steamed buns are fun to make, easy to freeze and reheat, and sure to impress a crowd or satisfy a late-night craving. Welcome to Fish, Forage, and Food. I'm Sonia, a chef with experience developing recipes for an Asian food company. I have a passion for creating gourmet meals with forage and fresh-caught ingredients, and finding new ways to highlight nature's harvest in the kitchen. Today, we'll be elevating a family recipe for Chinese steamed buns with fresh-caught Dungeness crab and homegrown chives.
Let's start by making the dough. The first step is to rehydrate the yeast. We're going to combine 3 grams of active dry yeast, 4 grams of baking powder, and 15 grams of sugar into a small bowl. Then we'll pour in 180 grams of warm water and mix everything together thoroughly to combine together. Then we'll let this mixture sit for about 5 minutes at room temperature to let the mixture become all bubbly, which means the yeast is fully rehydrated. Next, measure out 350 grams of all-purpose flour into a stand mixer bowl. Once your mixture has finished sitting at room temperature, it should have several bubbles on the top of it. Pour it into the stand mixer bowl on top of the flour. Attach the bowl to the stand mixer, and then take the hook attachment. We're going to start mixing the dough on low speed. This is speed number 2. Once the dough starts to clump together, I'm going to raise the hook and scrape down the sides. At this point, I'm going to add in 10 grams of vegetable oil. Resume mixing the dough on low speed for about 5 minutes. When the dough starts to form a ball around the hook attachment and there's no more pieces of flour sticking to the bottom of the bowl, that's when it's ready. I'm going to take the dough out of the stand mixer bowl and knead it for about a minute until the dough becomes smooth and homogeneous. I'm going to form a ball with the dough once it's been kneaded for a minute. Then take a little bit of vegetable oil and add it to your stand mixer bowl. This is going to prevent the dough from sticking as it's rising. I'm going to add the ball into the bowl, mixing it around to thoroughly coat all surfaces of the dough. Then I'm going to cover with a damp towel and let it sit at room temperature for 1.5 hours. While the dough is resting, we're going to start on the filling. Traditionally, steamed buns are filled with pork and chive, but today we're using crabs that we caught a few days ago and chives that we harvested over the summer from our garden. Check out our crabbing videos in the links. We're going to grate 10 grams or 2 teaspoons of fresh ginger. Combine 200 grams of cooked crab meat with 100 grams of fresh or frozen chives. These chives thrive in the Pacific Northwest and are worth growing because they're used in many Asian dishes. If you don't have your own garden, you can also find them at most Asian grocery stores. Add in 10 grams or 2 teaspoons of soy sauce, or 14 grams or 2 teaspoons of oyster sauce, and 7 grams or 1 teaspoon of sesame oil. Then we're going to add in the grated ginger, 10 grams or 2 teaspoons, half a teaspoon of salt, and a sprinkle of white pepper. Mix everything thoroughly together. And you can use a fork to break up the chunks of crab if they're in large pieces like this. Place the filling in the fridge while we wait for the dough to finish rising. It's been 1.5 hours since our dough has started to rise. We're going to remove it and knead it for 5 minutes until the dough is springy and very smooth. Once you're finished kneading, form the dough into a ball. Next, we're going to poke a hole through the middle of the dough with your finger. Then slowly widen the dough into a donut shape. Next, you're going to stick your hand through the hole and start squeezing the dough to widen it into a ring or a loop of dough. Just rotating the dough as you squeeze along to gently widen it evenly. I first learned how to make baozi or bao buns from Paul's mom, and she's the one who taught me that baking powder is the key to getting that light, fluffy dough. Once you've got a smooth ring of dough, we're going to slice it. So now we have a tube of dough, and this is going to help each slice of our portioning be a consistent shape. I'm going to now weigh out 40-gram pieces. While you're portioning your dough, you're going to take each section, tuck the ends around whatever pieces you've added onto the dough, and pinch to form a ball. Turn it over and roll it on the surface just to tuck everything together into a solid shape. I'm going to set this on a floured surface and continue on with the rolling and portioning of the rest of the dough. While you're shaping the portions of dough, take a damp towel and gently lay it on top of the balls as you form them to prevent the dough from drying out. And then just place each ball underneath the cloth as you roll them. Once you finish rolling all the balls, we're going to let them relax and rest at room temperature for 10 minutes. In the meantime, we're going to take our steamer basket and line them with a sheet of steamer paper each. This is to prevent our buns from sticking to the bamboo while they're cooking. Next, I'm going to fill a small sauté pan with about 1 inch to 1.5 inches of water. I'm going to turn on the heat and let this come to a boil. Once the water comes to a boil, you can shut off the heat, then cover with a bamboo lid that we have for our steamer basket, and we're going to go fill our buns. After 10 minutes, we're going to start rolling out and filling our buns. I'm using a smaller rolling pin to begin to roll out this dough, rotating it with my left hand as I just roll back and forth a few times, trying to keep that shape as circular as possible. I'm aiming for a diameter between 3 and 4 inches. That looks good enough to me. Now we're going to fill it. Take your filling from the fridge and you're going to weigh out 25 grams per disc of dough. It's about 2 tablespoons heaping. Now we're going to begin to pleat the dough to form the bun. To start, make 1 pinch on the edge of the dough with your index and thumb. You can use your non-dominant hand to cradle the underside of the dough and your thumb on top to press the filling down and keep the edges clean. We're going to make our second fold by using the index finger to grab the dough and pinch it onto the first one. You can rotate the bun as you work your way around the edge. I'm going to do the same thing again and grab a little more dough and pleat it next to the first pleat, not right on top. That way you'll have all your pleats stacking on top of each other. We're going to want to work our way around the bun, so I'm going to just pinch it into the middle of the new pleat. grab and pinch, turn. And I keep using my thumb to press down the filling so that my edge is clean. Pinch, turn, pinch, turn. Okay, once we get back to our first pleat, I'm going to continue just pinching along the top of the pleats that we made, and this will bring the dough opening to a close. And now just pinch the dough really firmly and twist to bring everything together. Before you place it in your steamer basket, I'm just going to roll it briefly on the cutting board with my hands, vertical on each side. This will make the bun a little taller and prevent it from spreading too much while it's steaming. I'm going to place it into my lined steamer basket and move on to rolling and filling the rest of the dough. This recipe makes about 12 buns, and I've divided it into 2 steamer basket layers, leaving about 1/2 inch to 1 inch between the buns and the edge of the steamer as well. Stack the 2 layers together and bring them over to your boiling pot of water. It should still be pretty warm from when you brought it to a boil earlier and have lots of steam. Place the 2 layers on top. I'm going to place the lid on top and let them sit on top of the hot water for 10 minutes to rise.
After the buns have finished rising, turn the heat onto high.
Once you see steam starting to come up from around the sides of the steamer, that's how you're going to know your water's at a boil. At that point, we're going to turn the heat down to medium and cook for 15 minutes. After 15 minutes, turn off the heat and remove the steamer, placing it on the counter. Now, as tempting as it is to lift the lid and reveal your hard-earned buns right away, wait just 10 more minutes with the lid on first. If you lift the lid right away and the dough hasn't set yet, a rush of cold air is going to hit the dough, causing the air bubbles to shrink quickly and deflate. This will cause a wrinkled and flat bun, and nobody wants a flat bun. After the 10 minutes are up, now you can remove the lid, place the buns on a rack to cool slightly, and enjoy your buns warm with chili crisp or any dipping sauce you'd like.
One of my favorite parts about these steamed buns is how easily they freeze and reheat. Simply place the buns in a single layer in a Ziploc bag, seal it well, and place flat in the freezer. When you're ready for a snack, don't even worry about defrosting. Just cover 1 or 2 with a damp paper towel and microwave for about 90 seconds. If you're feeding a crowd, these are the ultimate party hack. Prep them days in advance and then steam the frozen buns for 10 minutes right as your guests arrive. Opening that lid to a cloud of steam and fresh buns, that's a guaranteed crowd pleaser.
So crabby. The crab and the chive flavor really complement each other, and you taste the brightness of the ginger. Really delicious. And the bun is super fluffy and light.
If you enjoyed this video and would like to see more like it, please like and subscribe to Fish, Forage, and Food.
Time to go get some more crab.
I knew it was Paul sneaking them from the freezer.